Welcome to your Kylo series for healthcare workers. In these series, we're going to show you a number of exercises to help keep you fit, healthy, and prevent injury. So enjoy and follow along. All right, this exercise is to develop upper back and shoulder strength. So we're going to sit tall, chest up, shoulders down and back. From here, the band is looped over my feet. Make sure you've got a good grip on my handles. We're going to work for 12 to 15 reps. I'm going to pull, squeeze the shoulder blades back, and then come on forward for 1, and we're going to continue. Nice tall posture. As you can see, my posture never changes. I'm always nice and tall, head is neutral and relaxed. Make sure you breathe, exhale as you draw back, inhale as you come forward, and then we'll do one more, and then we're all set. This exercise is to develop strength in the legs, the hips, and the glutes. We're going to use this exercise band, but you can see we've tied. I'm going to use something to help me balance. Step 1 foot through, and again, that wall's there if I need it. I'm going to bring this down so it's just above my ankles. Also, it's important that the tails that you've tied here are between your feet on the back. That way we'll prevent anything as far as getting stepped on or accidents. I'm going to bring myself into a partial squat position and begin walking. We're going to take 10 steps forward and 10 steps back with posture tall. So it looks like this. Once I've done my 10 steps, I'm going to do the same thing but continue and walk backwards. All the while keeping that posture tall, abs engaged. I'm going to repeat. We're going to go for 3 to 5 sets. This is perfect for strengthening up the legs, again, as I was mentioning, but also excellent for developing more strength on the back side of the body, which we tend to not be so strong on. This is helpful because it'll protect your knees and your lower back from injury. In fact, I almost always do this warm-up prior to any leg exercise that I'm going to do. So I have one more there and one more back. So again, nice and tall. Remember not to get up into this position. You always want to be in a semi-squatted position, about a third to a halfway down. I'm walking fairly normal, keeping pressure out with the band. And this will be my last one back. Remember to breathe. A lot of people forget that in this position. And we're done. This exercise is designed to work on the front of the thighs. Many people have done this or have seen this exercise before. It's held in a static position, so we're not moving. It's called a wall sit. So simply, we stand in line with the wall. My heels, my behind, shoulders, and head are all against the wall to start off. From here, I'm going to step forward with my feet, so I'm just a little bit away from the wall. I'm now going to bend my knees and put my tailbone and my lower back on the wall. Shoulders will come back, head will come back. In this position, I'm going to also potentially readjust my feet if necessary. I'm about shoulder width apart, and I'm going to drop. So my thighs are now bent at about 90 degrees. Palms are going to be facing forward, shoulders are relaxed, and I'm going to hold for about 30 seconds. So while I'm in this position, control your breathing, relax your shoulders. People have a tendency to want to hunch up. The less tension I put in my body, the more this is going to affect working on the legs. So over the top of the thighs, that's where you start to feel a little bit of work happening here. If you've had experience with this exercise before, work to the higher range of our number at 30 to 60 seconds. If you just started out, the 30-second mark may be enough for you. As I hold this position, I make sure again that my back, my shoulders, and my head stay on the wall, and my palms are constantly facing forward. This will keep the chest and shoulder open. So I'm trying to relax my breathing, keep myself pushed into the wall. Once I'm done my 30 seconds, I'm going to take my palms, put them on the wall, so I'm going to turn them this way. I'm going to lean off the wall and use my hands to push. The reason I do that is to make sure I can safely get up after my legs are a little bit tired. This exercise is also used to help strengthen the legs, but the main emphasis will be actually on the back side of the body, so the hamstrings, the glutes, and also it will work the core. So in this position, I'm going to step with my feet staggered. Make sure you have good balance and your toes are pointed, what I like to say, on the train tracks or straight ahead. Often we'll see a turnout. Try to keep them as straight as possible. A little bend in your lead leg, so slight bend. I come up on the toes in the back, and from here what I'm going to do is I'm going to push my tailbone back and drop my chest towards my thighs with my hands up my side. Remembering to keep my back straight the whole time, and I push and drive through that front foot to be tall. So we're going to look for 12 to 15 of these guys. Exhale, drive up. Posture stays nice and tall. This front knee never changes the bend. We're going to lean. Come on, back up. So again, you should feel some stretch on the leg that's forward as far as the back part of it. You may even feel it as high up as into your glutes or your lower back. If it's hurting, be mindful about the depth that you're bringing yourself down to. Remember your breathing. Exhale as you come up. A couple more, folks. And then here. And then at this point, what we're going to do is stop, and we're going to switch legs. So I'm going to reset my position. My left leg is now forward. Right leg back on the ball of the foot. Bend in the knee. Same positioning. Nice and tall. Push my tailbone back, drop my chest towards my thighs. We're going to work for that same rep count, 12 to 15 repetitions. Remember your breathing and your posture. It's really critical to make sure that your back stays nice and strong and healthy. You can also see this is not done at a particularly fast pace. Nice and controlled. The more controlled I can do this, the more that I'm utilizing the muscles. So make sure to keep those toes aligned. Breathe as you come up, as in breathe out. So again, this front leg here is getting a lot of work. 2 more here. Exhale, drive up. Come on down under control, and exhale, drive up. And that's the exercise. This next exercise works the legs again with a big emphasis, particularly on the hamstrings and the behind. These muscles are important, particularly because we sit a lot, so we want to make sure that they're extremely strong. So this is a tip for when we use the one-legged deadlift. I have this piece of equipment over here. It's called a Liebert bar. I like to use this for balance. However, if you don't have one of these accessible, you can also use a chair or something that would be about roughly the same height. The reason I want to use this is sometimes our balance is a little bit tricky. So I'm going to line myself up, bend my front knee. I'm going to kickstand my back leg. As I do that, I'm going to reach forward like Superman and try to put my fingertips on the bar to make sure I can stay nice and balanced. That way you're not worried about falling over to the sides. It's a nice little safety tip and trick, and it'll help you to progress on your exercises. A little bit more challenging. What I'm going to do is I'm going to step my left foot forward, in this case, with a slight bend in my leg. My abs are tight, and much like the reaching lunge when we were leaning down, the main difference with this one is I'm going to extend my foot up off the floor. So it becomes a little bit of balance at the same time in core work. From here, knee is bent. Going to drop forward. As I do that, my arms can be out at the side. I'm going to bring myself down to close to parallel. My toes are pointed towards the floor. I'm going to come up. I can rest my foot if necessary, or I can hang it off the floor. We're going to work for 12 to 15 of these guys on one side. And then, of course, we're going to switch and do the other side as well. So this is all about control of the movement. It's not meant to be fast. The more that I can control this movement, the better it's going to work. And as you can see, your balance does get challenged. So I bring myself down, fold at the hip, toes down. Wherever you can bring yourself down to safely, that's where you want to go. So remember to keep the abs engaged, shoulders relaxed. Knee always stays about the same bend. Don't really change that. Again, sometimes I need to put that foot down. You've seen me do that a couple of times to reset my position. That's completely fine. And there's my balance almost going there. So that happens. If you need to touch down, that's okay. Make sure you're safe. I will say this, if you have had an injury to either side of your knee, so maybe an ACL injury or an MCL injury, you may want to consult your doctor before adding this one into your program, as it can put a little bit of additional stress into that particular joint. So we've done that side. Now we're going to switch and do the other side. So you can see it was challenging even for me. So if you find it a little bit more difficult, that's okay. So foot, knee bend again, posture's tall, kickstand the foot in the back to start off. You're going to put the arms out. And often you'll find your side that you're dominant with will actually be harder to balance on that side. Most people would think it would be the other way around, but in fact, if you're to kick a soccer ball and you're right-handed, your left foot's always the one that you put down first before you kick the ball, so it tends to be stronger. So this is a good thing to know when you're trying to do this exercise, because you find that it will generally be quite a bit more difficult on the opposite leg that's not dominant. In this case, I'm right-handed, I'm on my right leg. It's a lot more challenging. So remember breathing. Bring yourself down. Again, if you start to slip over, that's okay. Readjust your balance. Again, a little bit tired on this leg now, as you can see. Control, come back. We got a couple more left. And over, engage the abs, and that's it for that exercise. This exercise is used to help develop strength in the legs. We focus a lot on the front of the thighs and the back of the thighs in previous exercises. This one will shift the emphasis to the outside of the thigh and also the inside of the thigh. So this is a lateral lunge. I begin with my feet shoulder width apart, standing up nice and tall. Abs are engaged, and I'm going to take a step off to the side. As I do this, I drop and extend one leg and drop and bend the opposite leg like I'm sitting on the floor. I'm going to exhale, push up with this leg that's bent, come back to the center position, and switch to the other side. So we're going to work for 12 to 15 per side, so 24 to 30 total reps. We're going to control our breathing, posture, and make sure your toes are in alignment. A lot of times people will start moving their toes out to the sides and so on. We're going to be very cognizant of the fact that we're not doing that to keep our knees in a healthy, safe position. So you're going to feel it's going to work a little bit differently than our last exercise that we've done, or our other exercises we've done. So this one's all about pace and control. You need to control your breathing. It does require a little bit of cardio work here. A little bit of work to keep that posture tall, and your abs are always engaged so you don't start falling over. So if your knees are feeling a little fatigued or tired, you can shorten the depth of this a little bit. That'll help to ensure that your knees are happy. And yes, it takes a little bit longer, this one. The good news is we're getting both sides done at the same time. Posture still nice and tall. Just about to wrap up on these ones. And over. Finish nice and tall. Remember to catch your breath. All right, this next exercise is to develop strength in your core. So we're going to start by doing a plank. Some of you have done these before. Our first position, we're going to bend our elbows at 90 degrees to make sure they're in line with your shoulders. Your fingers are pointing straight ahead, and as you can see, I'm on my knees with my feet about shoulder width apart. We're going to hold this for about 30 seconds. So if you've had an issue with the lower back, this is a nice way to start without putting too much stress in that position. So you're going to continue to breathe normally. Keep your hips parallel to the floor and your head in neutral position like I'm holding here. So be careful to not look up or drop your head down. Nice straight line within your neck, hip, knees, and shoulders. So about 30 seconds. And if we want to make this a little bit more challenging, all we have to do is come up to our feet. So if you'll take a peek at my feet, I'm just going to lift my knees off the floor. Again, the same position is true with the body. I'm going to hold this for 30 seconds. I want to be parallel to the floor. So nice and relaxed, good posture, nice and strong. Control your breathing. You shouldn't feel too much pressure anywhere else. Your weight should be distributed evenly on your hands and your toes. So if you feel like this is a little bit of work, it certainly is. So once we hit about 30 seconds, we're going to bring ourselves down nice and easy, down to the knees. Then you can come on back up, and we're on to the next. This exercise is used to strengthen our core in several different positions. Often we do a lot of crunches and rotations and back extensions to cover the core. This exercise will actually look after all of the core, so the front, the sides, and the back of the body. So again, many people have seen this exercise before, and I'm going to show that to you now. So this is called the bird dog. What I'm going to do is go in a 4-point position, so meaning my hands, my knees. I'm going to put a slight bend into my elbows and keep myself parallel to the floor. It's important that we're not arched up or dropping our hips down. So my feet are about shoulders apart, a little bend in the elbows, and from here I'm going to extend my right arm and my left leg at the same time. It's important to note with this exercise that I bring my right arm or my left up at about a 45-degree angle with my thumb facing the ceiling. And my leg, my toes are pointed to the floor. So it'll look like this. Slowly extend, come out. As you can see, my toes are pointed to the floor, my hips are straight, and my arm is on the 45 degree with my thumb up. I'm going to bring that down, try to get my hand down at the same time as my knee, and now we're going to alternate to the opposite side doing the same thing. So, with this particular exercise, we're going to look for about 10 to 12 repetitions. So, if you're thinking of it side by side, 20 to 24 repetitions total. As you can see, it's a very slow, controlled movement. It's all about maintaining the hips and getting your hands and feet down at the same time. Remember to keep your core engaged. One tip I like to use is to ask people to think about pulling your belly button up into their spine. That'll protect the lower back and engage your core a whole lot more. Now, if you're finding that repetition scheme is very challenging, if you've never done it before, then you can definitely adjust your reps accordingly. For instance, if I get 6 on each side, or a total of 12, and I can't do any more with good technique, then that's going to be my stopping point. The reason this is the case is I want to put good information into the system with good technique, but also I want to ensure that the health of my back is good. So always good technique. We focus on that as opposed to number of repetitions. Control the breathing. Again, it's a little bit more challenging because you're holding the abs at the same time. Almost finished here. You'll definitely be working a sweat on this one. There's no question about it. It is slow and controlled and requires a lot of concentration and focus. One more time. When you're done, sit yourself back onto your heels. Make sure you get a little stretch and refresh. This exercise is developed to strengthen the ankles. So for those of you who are on your feet for long periods of time, this will be very helpful. First thing I'm going to do is loop the band over the middle of my shoe. As you can see, this is the safest spot for it to be. From here, I'm going to plant my hand on my opposite side and sit nice and tall. Lift my foot off the floor. Now we're going to do a windshield wiper motion with the foot. So I'm going to turn the inside arch of my foot towards my body, like so, and then away from the body. So in, out, and back. So we're going to go 12 reps or so of this particular exercise. So in and out counts as 1 repetition. So again, this will help to prevent ankle sprains And if you've had injuries previously to that foot, this will help to re-strengthen it. It'll improve your balance and coordination. So we're about here and all set. This exercise is also used to strengthen the ankles from a different movement. So same positioning as before. I plant my hands, sit nice and tall, chest up and out. I lift my foot off the floor. My band is in the same position as the previous exercise. And I'm going to push the foot down and bring it towards me. Foot down, bring it towards me again. 12 repetitions, up and down counts as one. So I'm pushing down like I'm pushing a gas pedal on a car, and then I'm bringing my toes towards my shin. Again, if you're on your feet for long periods of time, this will improve mobility in the feet and it'll prevent any further ankle injuries from occurring. So nice tall posture. I'm going to exhale as I drive that foot down, come on back. So once we're done with our left foot in this case, we're going to take this band off by bending the knee, so we do this safely. Loop it over your right foot, and we're going to repeat our same two exercises that we did previously. So just as a refresher, tall posture, I'm going to take that foot, lift it off the floor. I'm at the midpoint of my shoe. I'm going to bring that foot in and out. So nice and tall, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale. Try to make sure all that movement's coming from your ankle and not from your knee, and tension stays on the band, as you can see, at all times. Once I've completed my reps in that one, if I need a little break, I can take one for a short period of time. I'm going to reset my posture, and I'm going to move on to that second exercise for this one here again, which is the gas pedal movement. So I'm pushing down, toes towards shins. We're going to work at the same rep scheme again, which is 12. Okay. So nice tall posture. Exhale, drive the foot down, inhale up. Breathing is really important. It'll make sure that your core stays nice and stable to protect your back in this position. And then once I'm done my repetitions, I bring my foot down, I bend the knee, I take that off, and I'm done. I hope you've enjoyed this series of exercises presented by Kylo. Please keep at it. You guys are doing a great job. This is Dan signing off.